What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Thursday. Happy Fleet Thursday. I feel like we've not had a Fleet Thursday in a while. Fleet Thursday, yeah. Going to give away a free week of RG Premium. Just tell me what athlete our clues are pointing to. We'll be dropping one every 15 minutes or so. You know, let's just drop one right now to start the show. Let's reward the people that are here early. The very first clue in today's Fleet Thursday. You know, you submit your answers in the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. One guess per clue drop. Dive is our first clue. And of course, the clues are always scrolling. If you forget what they are, they're always scrolling on the screen. You got myself and Bobby Gomes here for the next 50 minutes or so until Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, is back. He was off yesterday because my understanding is he had a birthday. So shout out to Dave Potts. Happy belated birthday. You got Stevie as well jumping on. Kevin Roth, who we always need Kevin Roth, Bobby. We always need Kevin Roth, but today we definitely need Kevin Roth. And, you know, it's not even fair. I opened up his weather report. I'll go ahead and actually drop that in chat for the people as well. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Help us keep the lights on. Hit the buttons. Hit everything. I read his report, and I got mad at him. I'm like, damn, Roth. It's his fault. Like, I'm mad at Roth it's dicey in Cincinnati. It's currently orange in Cincinnati. They're home taking on St. Louis. St. Louis, one of my favorite teams in the slate. Spoiler. 7-game slate, kind of a baby slate here early. We might lose it. We'll see. Stay tuned. Of course, Roth will jump on. He'll give you some more clarity if things change weather-wise. But why am I blaming him? Well, it's not his fault. He's just giving me the information. Don't shoot the messenger. Is that what they say? What's up, Bobby? How's Thursday? How are things?
It's good. Interesting slate today. I told Meansy, I was like, I'm free all May, thinking all the games are at like 6:30, 7 at night. Signed my kid up for skating, 11 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursdays, and May 1st, he puts me right on the show, and I was trying to get out of it to go watch him skate because it's kind of like my favorite thing to do right now.
Yeah.
Week. And now we have this. I look at Weather Edge. We have all this weather, and it's going to be a lot to work through. But I guess we'll get there. I like Milwaukee and Texas. I don't know about you, so I like St. Louis. But St. Louis put up 9 runs yesterday. Like, what are the chances St. Louis is putting up 9 runs again today?
Yeah, I mean it's cheating, but they put up I think 15 in total. They had a doubleheader. They put up 6 in the first, not 9 in the second, but. I just want to pick on look, Andrew Abbott walks a lot of people, too many, and he gives up a ton of fly balls, and he's in Cincinnati. And I just love, picking on pitchers as far as stack-wise. And his K's have been great this year for what it's worth, but I think it's pretty fluky. If you stretch it back to, previous years, he's not a 30% strikeout guy historically, but he gives up a ton of fly balls. When I think the biggest fly ball rate on the slate, and his control gets lost often, I should say. He can be wild on occasion. So, and there's just the other part of it is St. Louis just has like so many cheap pieces.
It's right in your wheelhouse. So you're looking for the value, as we know. So you don't care. Yeah,
and content wise, just to get this is the peek behind the curtain. I wrote up the Cardinals like in a variety of ways as far as some of my favorite plays on the expert survey. And if that game gets canceled right now, I don't know. What am I going to scramble? How would I write stuff while I'm on air? Update the article, all these little things. I'm like, oh no, that's the worst when like your entire everything you wrote just going to goes away. What's that?
You didn't look at the weather before you wrote the article?
I wrote it like at 3 a.m, so I didn't have raw stuff just yet. I was up late.
Doing like hitter projections at 3 a.m. with my daughter. Doesn't sleep.
That's what you're doing. We're both working on different DFS stuff. This is the life we've chosen, Bobby. This is what we signed up for. No complaints, but I do like St. Louis. You mentioned Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee a good bit as well. I think they're one of the more popular teams. Locked in for 9 on the road against Sean Burke, one of the worst pitchers on the slate. Their team total is closing in on 5. You mentioned the Rangers. They just constantly disappointing. They also have a plethora of players that are cheap, depending on
eventually, Dean, you're going to get there with the Rangers, right? You're going to get there.
I think so. I mean, if you've been martingaling it though, you might be broke. You might be like looking for a couch.
I haven't been. I've been martingaling the Red Sox. So I've been pretty good lately.
Yeah.
Except the two highest owned Red Sox that I had last night were the two worst ones to have.
It wasn't Devers then.
Story. No, I had Devers, but I got there because I had like the majority. But Abreu and Story I really liked yesterday in both.
I almost yesterday. This is what I like about DFS. And if it's a complete disaster, I think I got a few dollars back. But yesterday was basically I was wiped out. Basically did not get there in any of my stuff. But we're back to zero today. We get to start all over again. To shake up the old Etch-a-Sketch. We're all starting at the same spot. 7-gamer. It's kind of a tricky one because Paul Skeens is throwing baseballs. He's the best pitcher on this slate by far, I would say. And he's facing one of the toughest offenses. And I don't wake up wanting to pick on the Cubs. I don't want to pick on the Cubs, but I'm going to pick on the Cubs because I kind of have to. I feel like I kind of have to. Biggest K rate on the slate. Dating back to last season, it's 31.9%. I know this year it's a little bit lower. This year specifically, it's 27.5, but still, that's really, really strong. Nobody throws more baseballs per start this year than Paul Skeens. I believe it's like 101.7 or 100.7 baseballs thrown per start, just ahead of Zach Wheeler. There's two guys, actually, that are averaging more than 100 pitches per start. It is Skeens and Wheeler. Remember he had that leash for a little bit? That's gone. That's no longer a thing. Is that what we're going to talk pitchers now, obviously. Let's see anything else as far as the overview. But I think I'm playing Skeens in basically every lineup I make. That's kind of the plan. Even if he gives us some runs, maybe he doesn't have a clean sheet. Great ballpark, obviously, to throw baseballs in Pittsburgh. Beautiful views, too, if you've ever been. Spectacular. But he should make up for it with strikeouts, I think. Biggest K rate on the slate. Baz also has been spectacular, too. Of course, that's a tough ballpark there in Tampa, but I think he's the interesting pivot, the interesting SP2 if you have the salary. I also like the Liberatore. Liberatore is legit. I think he's kind of legit. I think. If nothing else, dude just keeps the ball on the ground. And I know the ballpark there in Cincinnati, it's like, oh, no. Ball's in the air, it's going to go over the fence. Well, guess what? He just keeps the ball on the ground pretty well. So I liked him as kind of an SP2 as well. Paul Skeens, are we just playing him? What are we doing?
I think I'm going to be under on Skeens. I like Kyle Tucker to hit a home run today.
Sure.
Not that you don't have to play Skeens. I think I'll be underweight on him. I'm still playing him. I think the majority of people are going to jam him in. I'll just be a little under the field on him, I would imagine. I like the Baz call. I think he's interesting versus KC. KC's lineup isn't fantastic. Do like Witt and Pasquantino. I think they stand out a little bit, but I can roll with some Shane Baz at 9K. Jeffrey Springs is someone, if you're going to attack Texas, I like the Texas bats today, but at 7-1, I think that price is pretty good. Yeah. You could play Lugo versus Tampa Bay, which I don't mind. Lugo kind of dominated his last start out there, so 8,200 for Lugo. I don't hate it. He's like a professional pitcher, right? Seth Lugo, is that what you would call him? I feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would also call him an overachiever. I don't believe he's as good as he was last year. I think he was actually an all-star, if I'm not mistaken.
So you're seeing something in the BABIP. I know you're a big BABIP guy.
Well, let me go ahead and pull up his stuff from 2024. 21.7% as far as the Ks. Yeah, he had a 3 ERA, right in the nose. A 3 ERA over 200 innings pitched. Not many pitchers throw 200 innings these days, and good for him. But he had a Sierra of 3.94. You mentioned the BABIP 277, a little bit lucky there. The home run, the fly ball was 7.4%. That's kind of lucky as well. I just at 9.5% as far as swinging strikes. That's not great. It's not terrible. It's kind of in the middle. But he is sort of like professional pitcher. He kind of took that leap, at least as far as the surface numbers. But the Sierra is suggesting that he was pretty lucky last season. I never really totally bought it, and I don't really know what his ceiling is. But Tampa is also tough ballpark, different situation this time of year. But they are offering you a lot of Ks as far as the lineup that's out here today. 23.3%. Simpson leading off the speedster, no power at all, essentially. But beyond that, there are some strikeouts now. Your boy Danny Jansen did not crack the lineup. It's Rickford, of course.
Amazing that he
games
cracked a lineup. I don't know why you wouldn't put the best player in baseball in the lineup.
Day game after night game. That's just how that goes with catchers. A lot of times it's almost like an auto rest.
He's not good anymore though, which is I don't love it.
Yeah, that is the official lineup, right? Is that our projected lineup? Is that the official lineup? I know we have some lineups that are out. That's what was in the Plate IQ. I guess that's not the official lineup just yet. That's our projected lineup. So I guess there's still a chance. We got the official lineups for the Mets, the D-backs, Minnesota, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and St. Louis that they're playing. We have the lineups Pittsburgh and Chicago as the first game of the slate at 12:35. But we got nothing just yet for the White Sox, the Brewers, the Rays, the Royals, Rangers, and Athletics. Ownership-wise, here we go. We get into this. Yeah, I'm just checking out Plate IQ and Lineup HQ. Give it a refresh. Some of the names are getting kicked out with the old day game after night game stuff. But, you said you're not necessarily on Skeens. The field
I'm
will
not fading Skeens if that's what you're asking now.
Yeah. Maybe less than 45%?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be less than 45%. Someone put Zin 30. I wish it was a Zin 30. It's a Zin 6.
I think I know what that means, but not really. Yeah.
The milligram of the Zin that I just put in my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see you snuck one in there. Skeens is coming in at 45% right now. Again, don't
it's
love that
my
guy.
yard. Mario Don Yeezy. That's their. I'm at my mother's house. I didn't realize that they were doing lawn mowing.
How disrespect. They can't wait. Don't they know who you are?
I know.
You can't tell them, listen, I'm doing a thing in here. Bobby Gomes.
It's terrible. I'll try to mute, guys. I'm sorry.
Skeens coming in at 45%. Senga at 41. Baz 22. I don't mind Senga, but I like Baz more than I like Senga, I think. Especially if that ownership holds. If we're talking about Baz being almost half the ownership of Senga, I think Senga's fine. Lugo 22%, Molly at 18, which I don't really like. I'm not really in on that. Zach Gallen, man, he hasn't been great this year. What is it with the Arizona pitcher? Zach Gallen? Not really. I mean, the only thing tempting about once upon a time, Gallen was really, really good. I think he had one ceiling game this year. If you want to tell yourself that story, but he's just not the guy he was. Right? But 7.5, it's built into the price. So I guess if you want to tell yourself a story that way, I guess you can. But I suppose it's a fair enough price. But he's just not been very good. He had that first game of the year, not the first game, the second start of the year was against the Yankees where he struck out 13, which is good for him. But since then, it has not been anything noteworthy. And I mentioned I kind of like Liberatore if that game goes, but we need Roth to give us the all. I do. I like pitchers. Well, I mean, he keeps the ball on the ground and he throws strikes.
I guess he's not bad. It is at Cincinnati, though, so if that ball does get up in the air, you're in a little bit of trouble.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I think it's also kind of built into the price where he's cheap enough. And I also think that St. Louis is going to score if that game plays. So, not that it's basically a coin toss. I think I bet St. Louis in the middle of the night. Or maybe I bet him first five. I think I bet him first five. You just bet something and you forget. And later on, oh, wow, they didn't have that. Who knew? Completely, I wasn't even rooting for that. Just out of nowhere. But
that's a victory lap if I've ever,
no.
I've ever heard that. You just can't help yourself, huh?
That I didn't. There was no specific victory lap. I was just saying that's a scenario that's happened before. I mean, surely there's also been things that I bet and I forgot I bet and just it was a loss and the money is already gone. It's it didn't come back. Yeah, I guess we lost whatever that bet may or may not have been. Any big stands here as far as pitchers, Bobby? The Senga at 41%. It's fine. but good ballpark.
I'm petrified of Sanger at that ownership, but I feel like he's going to be in my pool.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Like I could definitely see Suarez just taking him yard immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez, 4 homers.
4 homers, 1 game.
It's pretty impressive.
Senga's
he's
just
the Al
like
Bundy of baseball.
For me, maybe not yet quite the Robbie Ray rule with Senga, but I don't like when he's chalky for whatever reason. I'll play him, but
yeah.
I think you have the best call with Baz, the more I think about it. Like
dated back to last season, 24.2% as far as the Ks. I think it's jumped up this year. I never really know what to do at this time. We have like a month, right? As far as that, a month and change, 5, 6, 7 starts, depending on. I still want to look at last year. I want to see what's changing, and I want to kind of meld them together if there's anything distinctly changing. But Baz this year, 31.8% is 31.6% as far as the strikeouts. That's really, really strong. The ERA at 2.45, the Sierra 2.91, all strong numbers. He's given up a little bit too many barrels. Small. Again, these are small sample stuff, but 10.4% is a little bit too high.
The Yankees like twice. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, I think he shut him down once, if I'm not mistaken.
I could be wrong about twice, but I don't know. Don't quote me.
No, he played the Yankees once, and the Yankees got to him. Yeah, they put a 5 spot on him in the 3 and change as far as the innings. It was the Padres. Boston. He killed your Red Sox. He struck out 11 Sox and 10 Pirates.
Was it on a Sunday? I probably played them.
I don't know. But what was it your theory? No, it was Kirkwood's theory the other day that was Boston doesn't score for their aces.
No, that was my theory, and then they went off. But I had them. So I had Abreu. Abreu was like my highest projected hitter. So I had them. Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
I did the South thing where I didn't know. I liked Bowden Francis, but I just didn't get any of them because, like, however I projected him, I didn't get him. Thank God I didn't get him because he got blown up.
Yeah. I think we talked about that. I feel
it was me.
It was
me, Dean. I
tried to pitch him to me.
I texted you. I texted you. Didn't respond.
About Bowden
Francis.
First
3 batters hit home runs. First 3 out of the first 4.
Honestly, I never saw it. If I just missed it.
5 home runs in the game.
Yeah, they pulled a Yankee. The Yankees did that as well.
I feel like I'm watching way too much baseball.
Are you?
Yeah. Like an old guy. I feel like baseball's like something old people do unless you play DFS.
It is. Well, if demographics point to they're trying to get younger. They sped the game up, then that'll get the kids involved.
They should speed the game up, but like the other thing is like the long game is great if you're like in Wrigley in the bleachers and you're getting a little lubed up, But like, they needed to speed it up just for watchability. I don't mind the overtime rule. Everyone hates it, but I do like. Someone suggested like a guy on first and then each progressively second, third,
each inning. I don't hate that, and that's fine. I know. Yeah, Cards was on yesterday. He was the old man yelling at the clouds, and a lot of the old school baseball guys don't like it. And I kind of hear you, but dude, there's 162 of these, and like when the game goes 20 innings, it destroys your bullpen for several days.
Cards was like pissed because Noel was back. He was like, he's a steroid user. I'm like, I wish these guys still use steroids. Thinking to myself, I need like the Barry Bonds era. I'm like, how good was Barry Bonds? They're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, how good was Bonds? He's basically what Aaron Judge is doing right now, to be honest.
He's better than Judge. You couldn't pitch to Bonds.
He was amazing.
He hits it out of the park.
But like, we're not acknowledging how good Aaron Judge has been so far this season. I think isn't he batting like 400? Like that's the other thing.
I feel like he was cold for the last week until the last Sunday and yesterday.
Oh,
he didn't go yard. Like you couldn't pitch the Bonds in that 73 home run season. Like they literally threw him one fastball a game,
and he would smash it.
50 chance he was hitting it out of the park. And
he
was
just
in
got the Athletics,
dude.
by the way.
He was hitting at Pac Bell. Like how do you?
Yeah, McCovey Cove. Like he's got like I don't know, probably half the splash. They keep count of how many balls have landed in the water in McCovey Cove, and I think he's probably like half of those. No Langoliers today for the Athletics. Butler, Wilson, Soderstrom, Rooker, Andujar, Blade, Urias, Kurtz.
How good is Butler? How good is Butler?
I like Butler too.
He's
They
good.
they extended him, I think,
That
like a
team is
5-year
good.
deal before the season started.
I really like that team.
Yeah,
I didn't play Evo. I kind of faded the chalk pitching yesterday because I don't know. Dude, it's tough that lineup looks good.
Yeah, we used to goof on the Athletics, and rightfully so, for a multitude of reasons. But they actually, like, you can point to them and say, okay, they might actually have a future, depending on, assuming they get a city to play baseball in, which I think that'll happen.
They're perfect for Vegas. Like, those colors are unreal for Vegas.
Oh yeah. I think. I mean, obviously they have the land, spotted. I think the old Trop, right? Is it supposedly where the ballpark's going to be if that happens? And
the old what?
The Tropicana.
In Vegas, I've been to Vegas a couple times, but one time
I think it's where the Trop was.
An In-N-Out on the freeway. I walked the freeway to an In-N-Out.
Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty. Yeah, there's an In-N-Out on the Strip. Yeah, I used to live in Vegas, so
Did you?
Yeah, a couple of years. A year.
You must have some fun. You ever go to Spearmint Rhino?
I've heard of it, but I've never. I don't. I mean, I might have had friends. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Out there.
That's not my scene per se, but like, if everybody's going, whatever. And of course you have friends coming in. They want to do the Vegas thing. You got to play along. Second clue. We're behind. We're behind on our clues. Hall of Fame. You know what we're gonna do? Here's what we're doing here, Bobby. You ready for this? An unprecedented double clue. We're gonna do back-to-back clues for Fleet Thursday. So you get 2 guesses. You get 2 shots. So not just Hall of Fame. We already have dive. The third clue is first overall. First overall. That is the third clue in Fleet Thursday. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about.
Literally
in the Discord channel. See, well, no. Like it's probably, unless I'm being cruel, it's probably a Hall of Famer.
Dive.
It's probably a Hall of Famer that probably
went first overall.
Probably went first overall. I don't want to say that definitively.
Depending on your clues, it could be like something.
It could be, it could be Anthony Bennett. For all he didn't make the Hall of Fame, right? Pretty sure he did not make the Hall of Fame.
How good's Anthony Edwards? Did you see him? I don't know if you have Instagram, but he was walking around like LA after the game last night. Yeah,
I did not see this.
Going and talking shit to the crowd. Can I say the S?
I can see that. Yeah. Hey, he's earned it. He's earned it. Well, it looks like the unprecedented double clue. We got a winner. We'll play these out just for fun, but Bobby, you weren't able to get there.
Is it fun? I think the fun part is questionable.
It's subjective.
It's subjective.
I want to get to our
with these. I still haven't got one in 4 years, so
yeah,
not fun for me.
When you finally get it, though, it's going to be,
Cheese was like, yeah, why don't you pay? Like, I've never gone one of these. I haven't even been close. I
think what Cheese was pointing out the other day, what Cheese was pointing out the other day is like, you gave the impression that you didn't even know what was going on. That this is
I don't care about it. Like, it's not like at the top of my list. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, with teams.
Yeah. Understood. Still waiting for Texas, right? Yeah. No Texas, no Milwaukee. No Chicago.
And your clues are just the worst. Like, we could go on a tangent for the entire show about how bad these clues.
Well, how do people guess it is what I'm saying. How does that happen? Like, I feel like that's a counterpoint. Is it never have we had a show where nobody's guessed what the Fleet or the movie. You know what I mean? So somebody gets it.
We've been pretty deep in the clues where people are just like, and then you
gotta earn it.
Answers that are for clues that don't make any sense.
Well, it'll all make sense when we explain it. And it did make sense to T. Carter. T. Carter knew. T. Carter took it down. Knows who we're talking about. Pitchers. Give me the summary. We got to throw some of these teams in stacks. I believe crunch time shows up around, 11:40-ish. So, yeah, we got to move on. But give me the summary as far as pitchers. I'm playing Skeens in every lineup. I think I'm not making a ton of lineups, but just assuming I had the salary, I'm playing him, and that's that. Don't care.
I don't want to like totally rank these pitchers because I'm kind of unsure with the weather and all these other situations.
I get it.
Like I think currently I'm gonna be underweight on Skeens. I like Baz a ton. I like Lugo. That's that game just in general. I liked your Liebertor call. Senga is like, I want to play Senga, but then I look at Arizona's lineup and I don't want to play Senga and I don't want to play him at that ownership. So maybe that eventually bumps my Skeens ownership because I'm just playing Skeens versus Chicago. But then I see Chicago and like, I think Tucker, like if I don't know what Tucker's prop bet is saying. I think he goes yard.
I mean, I think we'll talk about it in a second, but I think he's an awesome tournament play. Like, absolutely. We talk about leverage. We got a joke about the idea of leverage.
You're not like full stacking them. Like I could see playing Suzuki and Tucker as like a mini.
Bush.
But yeah, Bush looks good too. I don't know. It's Skeens though. He dates that hot chick from LSU. He's probably gonna shove. So maybe my approach is wrong, but I don't know.
Your closing argument is who he's dating.
Well, if you've seen Moneyball, which I watched last night.
Yeah. I know what you're getting at. Yeah. Confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a confidence thing where if your significant other isn't attractive, it's basically say, you know what I mean? You got to knock down the projection a little bit.
Jerry is asking in chat.
But if she's very attractive, then you bump it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's subjective.
This is great analysis, by the way.
That was a plot point. Well, I know not a plot point, but
this is why this is a free show, and you have Cheese coming up on
which is also a free show.
Oh, it's also a free show.
It's all the same. You think it just goes to like premium? Like
I don't know. I just thought it was. I thought yeah.
Speaking of Cheese coming in, good stuff. You don't think Cheese is going to give you the girlfriend analysis?
I don't know. Maybe
he's not going to talk about Olivia Dunn.
Maybe he waits it. I can't tell you. I don't know what Cheese puts in his projections.
I don't know.
I can just tell you what I do.
All right, so I want to throw our teams in some tiers. Bobby, today's tier. Well, you probably have some thoughts on this. Mother's Day gifts. Mother's Day is around the corner. I don't know if you have any plans. If anybody's watching, that may be watching.
I just found out it was around the corner like yesterday. When is it, by the way?
I think it's the next Sunday. I want to say.
Yeah, I gotta get on that. That's something I'll just put off.
Yeah,
I have another kid coming too, so I gotta.
You gotta ramp it up. You gotta ramp it up. Yeah, you gotta step up. I was with power ranking best and worst like Mother's Day gifts. This is a helpful show now. All of a sudden, we're helping you out because we're gonna make sure we're gonna steer you in the right direction.
Yeah,
I don't know how much.
This is the first thing that you've come up that is useful to me in terms of these stacks rankings.
They say you look like you're about to charter a crab boat. You ever been on is that TV show where they catch crab?
I'm from the city, so I don't go on
you can pass those. That's not an
freedom boats, freedom. Me and my brother got one. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a boat guy, so I don't know. Yeah. I may have been on a boat.
Fished a couple times last year, so
there you go.
I didn't catch anything great.
I don't get fishing. I'm glad people enjoy it, like have a good time. You and Forrest, and you're catching your shrimp. Producer Steve having a good time there with his gift. Okay, so what is the best and worst gift? And it depends upon like what the threshold is, like how much you're willing to spend. How much do you want to make up for? Maybe you weren't the.
She's probably looking for a ring at this point because I've been with her for 8 years and we're about to have a kid. So yeah.
Is that you're pulling the old the Pam Beasley? Was it what
you got to do it back? Millennials do it backwards, Dean.
Is that so? You're saying it's not happening? You gave the impression like, I don't know if you're playing coy or not. It's not my business, but it sounds like
no, it's happening. It's just
okay.
I have to get around to it, you know.
Fair enough.
Just taking my time, you know.
It's only been 8 years. No
kids.
shade, you know.
If you have kids, you're pretty much married. Like, there's no marriage is like, it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day. Like, sharing multiple humans with someone is the legitimate. You're hitched, you know.
Understood. So this is the board I came up with here, Bobby. You tell me otherwise. I don't know how generous you're feeling this year, but this is
Dean, not a boat guy, is shocking. He's from Florida. It's like he doesn't go outside. He's like the worst Floridian possible.
I'm not the cliche.
I would be at Publix like 3 times a day.
Well, Publix is I do go to Publix a fair bit. Here it is, Bobby. Here's the board for Mother's Day gifts, and feel free to use this as a guide. But the board is again, I don't know how much you're willing to splurge, but board. I put the vacation as like buying that's a pretty sweet Mother's Day gift. If you don't want to go that far, by all means, a spa day. How about a spa day? That sounds like that would work with most, depending on. Gift cards kind of in the middle because it's you can buy whatever you want. Just as long as it's like a generic one, it's not one of those like here's Panera. It's like, well, what if I like Starbucks? But there's not a lot of thought put into it, not a lot of effort, and thought matters sometimes. I'm told.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of effort put into this board, to be perfectly honest.
More effort than you put into it. If you want to have an effort off. Flowers, I guess they don't have a lot of stability, right? You got about 3 days, 4 days, whatever.
I used to date a florist. She hated flowers.
Yeah, well, she didn't like her job, or she didn't want to
like her job.
She just didn't.
She wouldn't. It's like she just didn't want flowers.
It's redundant.
It's redundant.
And then like the last one, like just don't buy like cleaning supplies or something like a treadmill. Like probably don't do that.
I'm old fashioned, Dean. So cleaning supplies, cooking supplies, get in the kitchen.
Oh, God. All right. We don't have time to focus on that. Told in chat that cleaning supplies is number 1. It shows you really care. I don't. Okay. Fair enough. But that is our board. We don't have time to dispute it or discuss it because we got some teams to throw in some stacks. And I'm giving a refresh to Roth's article in case anything has changed. But yeah, still orange in Cincy. We will rank them, assuming they're going to play. Yellow orange in Cleveland as well. So we want to keep an eye on both. I'm dropping this as chat. Additionally, by the way, I'll also tell you the 4th clue for today's Fleet Thursday was Pilot. Pilot was the 4th clue. Is the 4th clue. It still is. We're just playing it for fun because we already got ourselves a winner. Let's throw some teams and stacks. We did get lineups least for these early games. We referenced Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens, best pitcher on the slate. At home in Pittsburgh. They are favored at -130, taking on Colin Ray. O'Neal Cruz is one of the more popular plays on the slate, especially on FanDuel where the price is pretty good. Also, he's got shortstop eligibility there, not just outfield. You did reference as kind of a leverage play, at least if nothing else, a one-off or like maybe a mini for something like Kyle Tucker. You got to pay for him, of course, but he absolutely could be the best hitter on the slate. Wouldn't shock any of us. Where do you have the Cubbies and the Pirates on the board?
Yeah, the Cubs, I'm going to put in, just want to look back at your board. Cubs, I'm going to put in Flowers. Flowers. I'm going to go Flowers of the Cubs. I do like Tucker. I like Suzuki. I like Bush. I know Skeens is there, but it is what it is. Pittsburgh, I'm going to have some 5-mans. But I'll put them in gift card because I don't really love them. Like you said, O'Neal projects well. I saw that. But they are the Pirates at the end of the day, right? Like, they stink.
I have a hard time getting the 5 Pirates just as like a general rule. But
yeah, me too. Like
a mini, maybe.
You should never be playing 5 Pirates.
It's not good.
O'Neal Cruz looks good. Did Emmanuel Valdez I like him at 3.
He's batting cleanup.
Yeah, I like him. I like him.
Brian Hayes used to be good, but he's like terrible now.
Yeah, he stinks. I like Valdez and Cruz for Pitt.
I do like Cruz a good bit.
St. Louis is me.
Yes. I just heard of him today.
You would like Cruz though, just because he projects fantastic. So that's Dean's.
Yeah.
If you want, Dean is going to play the guy that projects the best.
I like the good players. You know, it's a weird.
Well, Valdez projects great, but you weren't going to tell me you like Valdez.
He's cheap. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You know,
batting fourth.
Yeah. He's shown a fair bit of power as well. 191 ISO, dating back to last season, 191 at bats against righties.
I just keep getting scam calls constantly. It's so annoying.
I keep getting these like phishing emails.
Yeah, trust me, I got one of those. Oof.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're work related, and it's like what and like all of a sudden, I'm just afraid to answer anything. I don't know. I assume everybody's.
Is everyone just scamming people? Like that's your new.
It's the numbers game, right? Like if 99% of people ignore your scam, who cares? It's the 1%.
You know they had to get me at some point, right? Like.
Cardinals, Reds, Andrew Rabbit, Liberatore. I mentioned earlier I like Liberatore just because he keeps the ball on the ground, he throws strikes, and he's cheap enough. Obviously, you don't like pitchers in this ballpark because it's a bandbox. But if you keep the ball on the ground, it doesn't matter how deep those fences happen to be. I love the Cardinals against Abbott, who has an issue with throwing strikes sometimes. Very much an issue as far as keeping the ball on the ground. Win, I think, is a really, really nice salary saver. I know shortstop's a premium spot, but it's a way to build differently, I think. I love it.
The thing about Win, though, is he stinks, right? At the end of the day.
Is that the deep dive? So you just told me I only like the good players, and then
he knows the Cardinals.
He's actually got a lot of power versus lefties dating back to last season. A 225 ISO. So yeah, surprisingly, he's got more power than you think.
I like the catcher Pozo, 2,400 for salary savings.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's doing the catching today. It's a 2 plate appearance, a sample size dating back to last season.
Yeah,
it's a 500 ISO. He's not that good.
I appreciate you pointing that out to me because I want.
That's one double basically, right?
That's why I'm on the show with you, so you can tell me.
Yeah. But he's cheap. I'll say that. I assume he's cheap. Another one is Lucan Baker. Lucan Baker is another cheap. But the tricky part with him, he's got a ton of power. 233 ISO dating back to last season versus lefties. But he gets the hook sometimes when a righty comes in, and the entire game might get a hook because, again, Roth is telling us the game is orange. An hour and 10 minutes is first pitch. Roth will be on in about 15 minutes or so. Give you some clarity. Maybe there's an update, maybe there's not. Not just like when he comes on. He'll give you some updates when they're warranted, as we work all the way up the lock. And this isn't the first game, it's the second game, but it's essentially at lock time. 12:40 East Coast, 12:35 is the first one, Chicago and Pittsburgh. So we're going to know more information, and he'll give you some clarity and tell you if Roth did update. Thank you, Garth in chat. Let me go ahead and give it a refresh. Oh, yellow orange. Okay. All right. Now what do we do? I'll just say this, Bobby, and again, I don't want to say this is officially what I'm doing, but general rule. Let's give the general rule. If a game is dicey, right? General rule, you don't want to have one-offs in that game, right? If it plays, you want to have full stacks or nothing. Like if it gets wiped out, the worst thing is to have like two guys in that game, and it gets wiped, either in or out. As like a general thought, and I don't know. This is
your rule, Dean. I just play the slate as it comes to me.
Well, you disagree with that rule? Tell me if you disagree. You're
no, I don't know if I disagree. I haven't thought it through enough.
You just fair enough. But I think I don't know. I think it's kind of.
I just want to be combative.
You're just upset that you can't take your child to ice skates.
Hockey. I was pissed. It's my favorite thing to do. It was my fault too, because I was like, I'm free all May, and then I didn't know they scheduled this.
Is he old enough where he can do stuff? Where he's actually he can show off a little bit of skills? How old is he?
He's just getting off the crate. Like he just got off the crate last week, so I wanted to see if he'd keep it up.
What's the crate?
He tries to come off the ice, and I just send him out there. I'm one of those crazy. I've turned into one of those crazy parents.
Arizona takes on the Mets.
The crate is like what they use to skate to learn, Dean. You'd be
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You'd be on
Nobody
the
taught me to skate. I'm from Florida.
Yeah, you'd be on the crate.
Did we throw teams in tiers, St. Louis and Cincinnati?
No. St. Louis, I like St. Louis. I'll put St. Louis in. They're a spa day. Yeah. And then Cincy, I'll put up in. Leave Cincy in gift cards, Steve. You get it.
All right. St. Louis spa day, and again, just be aware. Roth is going to come on. I'll give you some clarity when it comes to the weather. See if anything changed. But it's nice to see that it's actually been upgraded to yellow orange. He wrote a whole paragraph here. I dropped this in chat. You can read it at your own leisure. Zach Gallen, Kodai Senga, Mets are minus 160 favorites. 8 is the total. Trying to see if there's anybody. Oh, Winker, the flirter, Mr. Steal Your Girl, is batting cleanup today for the Mets. That means who is sitting out?
Who gave him that nickname?
I don't. Kirkwood. Think his name is Winker.
That's actually pretty creative for Kirby.
No, I made that one up. I don't want to give him false credit. Their backup catcher Torrens is in there as well. Trying to see if there's anything different. Who's the other player for the Mets that's not playing? Let me know, Steve, in the chat. He knows.
I know who is playing, Jeff McNeil, and he's projecting all right for me, and it makes me want to throw open my mouth. Tyrone Taylor's in there in the 9 hole.
When you like the player in the 8 hole for the home team who may actually only get 3 at bats, like while playing the entire game, if they win the game like 4-2 or something like that.
I just hope
maybe Starling Marte is missing.
Marte and Acuna.
He homered last night, right, Marte?
I don't remember.
No, I think it was Vientos.
We did see a McNeil homer earlier in the year.
Once.
Gallen, by the way, historically is kind of a reverse split. So don't. I think the Polar Bear is a really interesting play, and Pete Alonso. He's always a good play, but I like him a little bit more here against a reverse split.
What about Soto? I like Soto a good bit. I like Alonso too, but I think Soto's.
Mets fans are in shambles. Like he's not starting out to. I guess they're winning, so they don't care.
Well, he doesn't. He's gonna walk. Like he's so selective. So
huge waste of money.
What do you mean?
They're upset. He's not homering every time he's
a month. Like
yeah, he'll be fine.
I'm just kidding. I'm not as mad because, like you said, we're winning. So whatever.
Yeah, you guys are the Mets are nasty. For me, like I like guys that take pitches and work counts and. It stinks.
You watched Moneyball last night.
Like, that's how you should build a team.
Get on base, right? Moneyball.
Get on base. Yeah. Make sure get their pitch number up. You know.
Is that the best baseball movie of all time, Bobby?
Moneyball.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, you made a good point though on the show last week. Is like they leave out the fact that like they had the best rotation you could possibly have in baseball.
Mulder, Zito, all the cheap. Mulder, Zito, and
ridiculous rotation. Yeah,
who was the third guy? I always forget the. They had 3 awesome pitchers that just didn't cost anything, and they don't even talk about it in the movie. They don't
even think. Yeah, they don't acknowledge it at all.
No,
they bring in like the
Tim Hudson,
bring housing, and like they talk about all that. And Hatterberg and
I mean, still very impressive what they pulled off. Good for them. Changing the game.
They Hollywood did a little, you know.
Well, yeah, based on a true. Rudy was based on a true story too, but Joe Montana said he didn't remember he was there. Like I don't think that. I guess there was a guy named Rudy, I suppose. Where are we throwing the? I gave a refresh to lineup HQ. Oh, I went somehow yesterday's slate just showed up. That's very strange. Arizona, the Mets. We have the Mets and Spa Day and Arizona and gift cards. I think that's what producer Steve put in. Do you agree with Steve?
Let me see if I agree with Steve. Yeah, Mets and Spa Day, Arizona, and I don't even have Arizona as a full stack, but I do like Suarez. Let's put Arizona in Flowers.
Yeah, I mean Carroll as well. Like if you're playing
Carroll, Tawa, there's a bunch of guys. Like Senga seems like awful chalk to me.
All right, Woods Richardson for Minnesota taking on the Cleveland Guardians. 9 total. This one actually looks like pretty good hitting weather. Let me confirm here with Weather Edge. I know it was good last night. I want to see if something has changed, but we're looking at 77 as far as the degrees. Wind blowing out straight to center. Yeah, 92 game sample, a bump in Weather Edge at 15.8%, a bump in runs at 13.6%. I think I was telling Steve before you jumped on that I bet this over 8.5. There's the victory lap. I had over 8.5 last night. Now it's 9. All right, we got some closing line value. Arias batting second for Cleveland, by the way. We got Big Christmas Noel also in the 5 spot. So some a little bit different iteration of that Cleveland lineup. Bit of a shuffle. Hedges, the backup catcher. Yeah, it's a you got J-Ram. He's the most important piece there for Cleveland, obviously. Lively, vulnerable to lefty power, especially Larnach batting cleanup. His splits are pretty dramatic. And Julien, who's kind of stunk this year, but he is a lefty. Correa also has been stinking this year too. Batting second. Where do you have the Twins and the Guardians? We got to speed things up a little bit here, Bobby, because crunch time's coming in about 10 minutes.
All right. Cleveland, I'm going to put them in spot A, Minnesota in vacation. Yeah, I like that.
Minnesota, the first team, top of the board.
Yeah, first team, top of the board. Cleveland's total moved up a little bit, so something I always like. Yeah.
The final clue, Bobby, today in our Fleet Thursday, already had a winner, but the final clue is Sky. Dive, Hall of Fame, first overall pilot, and Sky. Royals, Rays, we have both lineups. Lugo taking on Shane Baz, 8 total. It's in the 80s today in St. Pete. Seeing if there's anything different as far as the lineups. Witt's in there. Vinny P's in there. Totally to Tuesday. No, it's only to Thursday. Sal Perez. And then, same old deal with this lineup for the Royals. It falls off pretty rough. India, to me, is always bad chalk. And I think he's going to be owned to some degree just because, he's got a pretty cheap price and he's leading off on the road. So in theory, but he kind of stinks. There you go. I put the kibosh on him.
He does.
Where do you have the Royals and the Rays?
The Royals can go in Flowers in the Rays. I don't hate Tampa, but I don't love Tampa. We'll put them in the middle, whatever the middle is.
The middle is gift card, Bobby.
Yeah.
Still nobody in the gutter. Nobody in the gutter just yet hanging out with cleaning supplies. Let's see if we get somebody joining them momentarily. Not that I'm trying to point you in a direction. This is all you.
No, it's the White Sox, so I know you're going to poo-poo them, but
well, I mean, maybe you see something I don't see. Chad Patrick taking on Sean Burke, 8.5 total. Milwaukee's a -185 favorite. No Brewers lineup just yet, unless I missed it or unless it's just dropped. I don't think it has. But, Churios is going to get a fair bit of ownership, as will Yelich, as will Contreras. My hot take today in the survey is the brothers Contreras. Anybody named Contreras? Anybody?
That was yesterday, Dean.
It's a homer. Did they both homer yesterday too?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I have for today. Look, this is
DFS, put Milwaukee in vacation and the White Sox and cleaning supplies. Churio,
give me a sales pitch on
Yelich. Yeah. They're all great. Yeah,
I don't mind Vaughn as a cheapie. I'm okay with Vaughn as a cheapie.
Cheese always puts Vaughn in like the value guys, and I just can't stand Vaughn.
If you look at his dive into his batting profile, if you want to call it that,
he's supposed to be good.
It's not been terrible. Yeah, it's not been terrible. I'm pulling it up on the fly. I'm trying to buy some time, but let's see. Yeah, so he's in the 88th percentile as far as hard hits, the 86th percentile as far as barrels, 81st percentile as far as exit velocity. He's been hitting the ball pretty hard.
Maybe their team just stinks.
Oh no, not maybe. It does.
Yeah,
it definitely does. Yeah, they are horrendous. I think they're worse than I don't know. Maybe the Rockies are worse. They're battling it out. The battle for who's worse. One more game to go. We have the Athletics in Texas. Texas lineup is out, as it has been every single day. It's a little bit funky. We got Pilar leading off. When Areti comes in, he could be spelled by Jock Peterson, but it's Pilar, Langford, Young, Heim, Semien. Adalis Garcia jumped up to the 6th spot. Jake Berger falls back to the 7th spot. Ahmed and Tucker Barnett. Athletics, it is no Langoliers. Male versus Springs, 9 total. Where are we throwing the Athletics and the Rangers?
The Athletics and the Rangers going up in the vacation, both of them. Win some money today, you can take a nice vacation with the Athletics or the Rangers.
There you go. You got to get me some homers. Okay? I'll give you a minute to think of some homers as I recap the board.
Yeah.
You had to mention some players along the way that you like. So let's
I don't even remember who I mentioned, to be perfectly honest.
You got to repackage. I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Alonso, Tucker.
Well, I'll give you a minute. Let me just recap the board for the people, for those that are not actually looking at the screen. So yeah, if you're not aware, this is Mother's Day gifts. Mother's Day around the corner. This is what you get your Mother's Day gifts. Just some suggestions. Best if you have the money, if you're feeling generous, a vacation. Sure, why not? There's 4 teams hanging out with vacation. That's Minnesota, Milwaukee, Texas, and the Athletics. A spa day, St. Louis is there. Hopefully we get at least the baseball game for St. Louis. I know Roth is coming on here momentarily. He'll give us the update for St. Louis. It was positive. It looks a little bit better, but still kind of dicey in Cincy. St. Louis, the Mets, Cleveland, right there in the middle, smack in the middle, gift card. Kind of practical, just the generic one more so, unless you know somebody like absolutely loves a certain place, but also not a lot of thought. It's kind of easy. Flowers, we got to Chicago, Arizona, KC. Did I say that the gift card is Tampa, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh? There you go. And all by their lonesome, hanging out with cleaning supplies is the White Sox. Bobby, repackage the homers. Who is going yard for the people?
Let's go Alonso. Let's go Kyle Tucker. Let's go Gino Suarez. Some long shots, Jonah Heim.
Cleaning up today.
Yeah. Who else? We can find some other good ones.
Still no Milwaukee lineup, right? I don't think Milwaukee's come out just yet.
Cleveland, let me see Cleveland. Anyone I like on Cleveland?
You got Big Christmas in there now. I don't think he was anticipated originally. Noel.
Not to go yard. I guess he could go yard, but
he's a big boy.
Larnick will go yard today.
I like that call.
Yeah, that's all I got, Dean.
Let me give the people the recap today as far as Fleet Thursday. Our winner, shout out to T. Carter, who I believe is a repeat winner. A week free of RG Premium, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports. You get the optimizer, you get Dave's article, you get the rankings, you get Plate IQ, Lineup HQ, all the goods, all the bells, all the whistles, too many things to mention. But everything with the exception of NASCAR. You can purchase that. We actually have links in the description. Baseball is the same exact price, so why not get more sports if you're playing in more sports? The entire season for baseball, I believe, is $425. But if you put it 6 months for the combo package, you're getting 35% off. And again, you get everything, the projections for all the different sports. Additionally, 50% off your first month for props and pick'em. If you're in the Prize Picks or Underdog or just player prop streets in general, again, link in the description for all the goods over there. Today's Fleet dive was the first clue. This athlete was on a reality TV show called Splash that I don't think anybody watched, where he dove. They would have like judges and such. Hall of Famer. That's pretty self-explanatory. First overall, this person was selected first overall. They were a pilot in a movie, actually. If you want to get all technical, they were a co-pilot. And, literally, this person, Bobby, had the fish. This person had the fish in the movie and was no longer. Certainly you've seen Airplane before.
Nope.
And Airplane is the movie he was in, and Sky was the fifth clue. And it's not even have to do, it's a double clue. It's a bonus clue because Sky, Airplane. However, this person's final shot was the Sky Hook. There's Kevin Roth. Kevin Roth's all over it.
These clues are just.
What do you mean? Roth just shoved it right in your face and said these clues are perfect. He knew who it was. He just showed up. He woke up like 12 minutes ago.
I don't trust Roth.
He didn't wake up 12 minutes ago. He did our forecast like hours ago. And he's got little ones, so he was probably even up like 6 o'clock in the morning or something ridiculous like that. Let's do it. Let's confirm. Let's see what time Roth woke up this morning. Tell us in chat what time Roth woke up this morning. We have somebody coming back from a birthday celebration as well. We have Stevie, we have Dave Potts, we have Kevin Roth, we have Crunch Time right now. What time did Kevin Roth wake up this morning? I'm actually going to say, I'm going to set the over-under, and Bobby knows because he's got kids as well. I'm going to set the over-under for 6:47. 6:47. I don't know if that's a good
Stevie
line.
with an immediate head shake. No, Stevie, under that or over that?
Oh, under. You were up before that.
Yeah.
Like up, not like he's
No,
up.
he was
He's up
up
for the
before
day.
that.
Yeah.
He's up
Dean
for the
doesn't
day.
have
Like,
kids.
6. Dean,
No.
you don't know what it's like. Yeah, 6. The answer is 6.
Yeah,
And
doesn't
I
know
took
what
my
it's like.
coffee with a little Kareem. You never said who it was. It was Kareem.
I didn't. Oh yeah, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Skyhook, airplane. I
That
bet.
should have been one of the clues. You could put him in your coffee, the Kareem in your coffee. I like that.
He also played in the Cream City, Milwaukee, one of his cities he played in. Dave, there's no chance Dave has not seen Airplane. That feels like that's right up your alley.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of those. I think it, as much as a movie that old can hold up, it holds up.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to like that absurd level of comedy to love it, but I mean, it's a classic.
There's a strong Venn diagram with Naked Gun. If you like Airplane, you're probably like the Naked Gun stuff.
Yeah.
How do you
If
feel about them?
If you don't like
remaking Naked
either,
Gun,
I
Dave?
understand. Oh, I think it's fantastic.
You're okay with it?
Long overdue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably not
Ian,
overdue at all, but I'm fine with it. Yeah.
How was the birthday? Is that what you kind of hinted at the other day? Is that what you did for your birthday? You went to see baseball in Star Wars paraphernalia?
Well, so that's this weekend. So my son lives in Birmingham, so we're going to a baseball game Saturday for the birthday celebration. Birthday extends. So it was yesterday, but tonight I'm meeting a friend for a minor league game in Columbus, Georgia, and then Saturday we'll go to a Birmingham Barons game.
Nice.
So all kinds of baseball this week. Birthday at the zoo yesterday. It was me, and there were a bunch of kids there for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was adults who celebrate their birthday at the zoo.
They like
But
animals.
anyway, yeah, it was great.
All right. Bobby, anything else before you step aside and get out here and make way for crunch time? Do we have time to take your child to ice skate, or is that already passed? It's over now.
No, it's over. It's all right. I'll get the videos.
Oh, well, all right. There's always next Tuesday. Does he go back next Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Is that right?
Thursday. I'm a crazy hockey dad. Apparently.
All right. Y'all got plenty of time for crunch time. Oh,
Twice a week.
not checking out because I'm going to be watching and seeing what Roth has to say about our weather, especially in Cincinnati, because that is pertinent to what I want to do. I want to play some Cardinals amongst other things. Still waiting for Milwaukee's lineup. Got everything else. Got 50 minutes or so? You guys got plenty of time as far as sneaking up the first pitch. Myself and Bobby, we appreciate watching the first portion. Do hit that like button, do subscribe, but don't go anywhere. You got two of the sharpest minds in the biz, Stevie, Dave, the absolute best, not even a conversation, meteorologist in the land. It's Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
I am indeed. Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it. And congrats to your Florida Panthers beating my Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, that was a shit show. That wasn't even a series. So we're going to ignore that, and we're going to get to this. Two of the sharpest minds in the world. Stevie in the house. What up, Stevie? How are you?
I'm like searching Birmingham Byron's like minor league baseball hats now. Thanks, Dean. Or Dave.
So that leads right into my first question. What's going on in your hat today?
It's a Oakland Athletics like AAA team from last year. It's like a Vegas hat. They're throwing dice. I thought
That's
that was perfect.
It's a very cool logo. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
I'm a fan. He looks like he's in roller skates, though. What are we wearing? What's he got?
I mean, I think it's cleats.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Happy to have you. And of course, we're happy to have the birthday boy, Cheese, Dave Potts, in the house as well. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. Yeah, it's early, but here we are. That just means quicker to get back to the cheesecake. So
nice. It is early. And we do have some early weather concerns. It's always a little harder in these afternoon games because a lot of times the storms haven't started yet. So we're just kind of blindly trusting forecast models. But there are two games of concern. Every other game is totally fine. The two games I'm worried about are Cleveland and Cincinnati. And they're almost opposites in that Cleveland should start without any problems. And I just don't know if they're going to get the whole game in or if maybe they see some later inning issues. It wouldn't shock me if it's a game that goes 7-8 innings. That's totally possible. But hopefully they get the whole game in and it's not a concern. And then the other one is Cincinnati, where I think it's almost the opposite issue, where there's some storms around now, and it's whether or not they go right over the ballpark or miss by a mile. I can't quite tell yet. I do think they'll figure out a way to get that game in regardless, because behind this first line, it's just kind of scattered stuff. It's not super widespread. So I'm hoping they don't have to late start, but they might. And either way, I think they're going to be able to play ball in Cincinnati. So I suppose that makes my biggest concern the chance of a non-9 inning game in Cleveland. But I would say my overall confidence in both Cleveland and Cincinnati, as far as how I feel about like how accurate is my forecast, my overall confidence in that is not very high. And that's kind of the nature of these afternoon slates.
Would you say there's still, so if that Cincinnati game starts on time, is there still some chance of a delay that would hurt the pitchers?
Yes, but we'll have to look at radar, because if they start on time and it's because that storm misses, then they've got a while, right? They've got a while. If they start on time and it's because they think the storm is going to miss, but then it hits them, then they're going to get a first inning delay. But we should know that before first pitch. I think we'll know that. Steve says he's going to be watching the Cincy pregame to see what they're thinking. I love that. If you see a tarp, please do let me know. That's always a big help. So thank you to Steve Jones in the YouTube. It's Me Breezy says, would you play him in cash? I'm going to default kind of to Cheese and to Stevie on that. I don't know how necessary these plays are, how good these guys are. So let's do it. By the way, I'm just seeing the most famous Birmingham Barons player ever is Cheese.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Like he was, when he did his baseball thing, that was his, I think he spent more time in Birmingham than anywhere else. It didn't go great, but he looked sharp in the uniforms for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Their hats stink. They don't have any cool hats.
Sorry about that. I'll see if sometimes maybe if they have a random cool one at the ballpark, we'll see. Maybe they have a Star Wars themed Barons hat. Who doesn't want that?
Oh, that'd be cool.
All right. Check it out. Do a little look for our guy Stevie. Hey, let's dive into the non-weather content side of things. We want to talk about the pitters and the hitchers. Stevie, you can go first and lead us off with some pitcher talk if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think pitching is really interesting today. We have a few arms that are really talented in tougher matchups. And then everybody is just kind of in a group together of just you're hoping for 12 to 15 points. So looking at the top, I think Skeens, it's a really tough matchup against the Cubs, who have just been awesome this season. I think they lead the league in scoring and are like top 5 ever until May 1st on scoring. So they've had an incredible year, but I mean, Skeens is he's just so good that with the pitching slate that we have today, you just play him. He's my SP1 today. Not even like remotely thinking twice about it. I like Baz from Tampa against Kansas City. The only problem is Kansas City doesn't strike out. They haven't been hitting for a ton of power, which kind of helps his floor in this matchup. But some of his pitches, he's generating a lot of whiffs, and I don't know if he's changed some grips. His spin rate is a little different this year, but he's gone from a 21.5% strikeout pitcher to a 31.5% strikeout pitcher. And some of the data definitely suggests that like it's real, and his lefty numbers this year have been incredible compared to where he was really bad last year. So I think it's still way too early to tell on Shane Baz if he's going to be good long-term, but this year he's been great. Senga gets a really tough matchup against one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching, Arizona. Good ballpark for him. There's risk in any of these guys, so I don't hate it. I don't love it. And then Abbott in that Cincinnati game, we're kind of just watching this weather. Like you said, I think he has some upside. He looks healthier. His numbers are a lot closer to his 2023 numbers. Last year, he really struggled with strikeouts, and I just don't think he was ever 100%. He's a guy that can go out and strike out 6 to 8 hitters and give up 1 to 3 home runs. So he has some tournament upside if you green light that game for us and that weather stays north. So watching him, and then on the cheap end, I'll probably take some shots on Colin Ray in that Chicago-Pittsburgh game as just a cheap option. He's really just cheap, and all the other cheap pitchers kind of stink today. So that's kind of where my pitching pool is. I mean, Tyler Mahle has a little bit of upside. I like the fact that Bangaliers is not in the lineup that takes out one of their bigger power bats. So when the lineup came out, I had to do a second look here because the bottom half of that lineup's really bad, and Langoliers being out of lineup definitely helps a guy like Mahle.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, can we start with Baz? Because I feel like every slate in my head, I'm like, I want to play that dude. I think he's really good, and he's going to get a bunch of Ks. And then that's what he does. Why don't we just play that dude?
So I'm pretty much in on Shane Baz. Today, he's not Paul Skeens, so play Skeens, but you can play them both. Yeah. And I more or less believe what we're seeing from him. I think he's fully legit. So he's my clear SP2 after Skeens.
Love it.
And it's really not that hard to play them both. I thought it would be, but it's not. So he is my second highest owned pitcher. But I'm going to play Skeens ahead of him. Even against the Cubs, I've been going out of my way not to play against the Cubs, but it's Paul Skeens and all those other sort of upper mid-tier names that Stevie mentioned, they just all have a reason not to like them. Senga and Mahle and Lugo's in there and Abbott. And then even going down, when you first open the slate, if you are just thinking long-term, it looks weird to see Zach Gallen and Jeffrey Springs so low in salary, but it's deserved. Both these guys look like there's just something wrong. So I don't really think you can play them. I mean, play everyone in MME, but I don't have any of those guys, honestly. So pretty much my entire pool, and I only got to about 20 lineups today. I didn't do it's too early to be making 100 lineups by hand. But my whole pool is Skeens, Baz, and Colin Ray with a very light sprinkle of Matthew Liberatore and Seth Lugo. But essentially, that's it. Yeah, FanDuel, the pricing is not really that tight there either. Skeens is at 10.4 and Baz is at 10. And the cheap stuff, whatever you want to consider cheap, is 8,000 to 9,000. So I think you're still just playing Skeens and Baz there. Yeah. You just don't need the salary with what you're getting for this cheaper stuff. And the guys like Andrew Abbott and even Liberatore are 9,000. So you're not even getting a discount that matters. So I think it's Skeens and Baz.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the bats and the stacks in this case then, Cheese, and you can lead us off in that department. Mentioned the concerns there, some concern in Cincy, some concern in Cleveland. Everywhere else looks good.
Yeah. Pretty much every offense is in play. And the best pitchers on the slate are also facing good offenses. So even those teams, you can always play Cubs or Royals or Diamondbacks because they're good. But at the top of the board to me looks like the Brewers. Still waiting on that lineup as far as I'd seen. After them, I got the Twins next, followed by the Rangers. But I like Cleveland. I like the A's. Reds and Cardinals are fine. I don't love anything in that game, pitcher or hitter, which makes me fine with that. That's the one with kind of the uncertain weather. I do have some bats in that game, but they're not quite top of my board. Which again, Brewers, Rangers, Twins, and then I'll say Guardians next.
Okay. Stevie, walk me through your favorite teams here.
Yeah, I mean, I love when we do shows together and we're on the same page. I'm right there with Cheese. I think Milwaukee is the top stack today. Sean Burke is awful. He's the most hittable pitcher on the slate. Ben Lively, just no whiff rate whatsoever. So really like that Minnesota team. They're cheap. If we want to play Skeens and Baz together, Minnesota definitely helps make that work. There's a lot of cheap bats in that lineup that we'll talk about as we go position by position. I like Cleveland, Woods Richardson, even dating back to last year. There's so much regression numbers with him. My one sneaky stack today would be the Mets. I don't necessarily love the ballpark, but like Cheese was saying when he was talking about the pitchers, I think something's going on with Zach Gallen. This is a guy that was really good at limiting ground balls, and he has a 40% fly ball rate this year, giving up a ton of hard contact, can't get left-handed hitters out. Winker, Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, they have left-handed power in that lineup. So I think Zach Gallen picking on him and just kind of playing there might actually be something wrong with him kind of thing is fine. So the Mets are my sneaky stack today.
Okay, good stuff. Guys, let's go around the horn, talk position by position. Then we'll give some home run calls. Then we'll answer some questions as well. Steve, you get to lead us off with some catcher chat.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the money, Contreras, assuming that he's going to be in the lineup, is the top play by a large margin for me. I will say I like Heim for a little bit cheaper. That I don't think he'll get as much ownership as Contreras. We like Texas against Springs. He's really struggled with right-handed power. If you're not playing one of those like top end catchers, I'm just going all the way down to like Vasquez. I'm just punting catcher at 2.1K on a team that I like, Minnesota. He's hitting 9th, which gives you that like wraparound stack if you're playing Minnesota stacks. So those are the 3 catchers that I have in my pool. When I can afford the spend up, I will. But when I can't, Vasquez is just going to be the punt for me.
Okay. Cheese.
Yeah, pretty similar. It's a super bummer not to have Langoliers in today. Partly because we want to play him, but more because now Contreras already chalk is like kind of silly chalk. Like, and I love him. He's the best play, but it's going to be weirdly high ownership for a catcher. For that reason, I am playing. Stevie mentioned Jonah Heim. I think he's the next best play. It's fine to play a little Sal Perez anytime. There's not a lot of catchers on the slate, but essentially Contreras and Heim. And then I agree after that, you're really just going cheap. And even most of the cheap guys I was hoping to see aren't in the lineup. So, yeah, Vasquez is also my top cheap guy. Like Henry Davis, Pozo. We're just making up names. Pareda and Hedges and Poto and Amaya and Torrens. These are real names. But
I was like 2 of those seemed fake. I don't know.
Quiro, we didn't even mention Quiro. Yeah. These are all real people. Yeah, Contreras, drop to Heim, and then just drop to punt.
Okay. Real quick before we get to first cheese, fantasy football legend, which is a bold name, says, "What about a Detroit stack? They're a top scoring team, aren't they?"
That's not on the slate.
Well, that'll do
that. That's so yeah, different slate.
Okay, that makes that one easy. Okay, first base cheese.
All right, so I think Wilson Contreras is chalk. That's weird. I mean, I get it, like, because he's cheap and he's in Cincinnati and he's against a fly ball pitcher. But that does make me want to spend up to be different. Like, I think we're getting super low owned Pete Alonso. And, if Gallen is even just a little bit broken, super low owned Pete Alonso is interesting. I love Kyle Manzardo as well. Jonathan Aranda, sort of, and then the Brewers guys. Waiting on that lineup to see if both Bowers and Hoskins are in. I would be happy with either of them. We got cheap stuff too. If you want, like, you don't need cheap stuff everywhere. Even if you're playing Skeens and Boz, like, you don't actually need to punt every position. But you got Luke and Baker, you got Cody Clemens, you got Jake Berger, and Manuel Valdez. It's totally acceptable to go super cheap on DraftKings.
Okay, Stevie first.
Yeah, Alonso, like I said, the Mets are my like sneaky stack today that I'm stacking at hopefully low ownership. Soderstrom in that Athletics lineup against Molly is fine. Manzardo, Arnanda, like, I don't mind the Tampa lefties. Lugo had a really good start last time out. Houston is just a right-handed heavy lineup, and he's really good against righties, and he really struggled with lefties. So Tampa, I mean, it's 85 degrees, and Tampa should be very close to that. So I think the hitting conditions are going to be really good in Tampa again in that like minor league ballpark. So don't be afraid to play some Tampa lefties in that matchup against Lugo. Jake Bowers, assuming that he starts, but I like Hoskins a little bit more than Bowers. The Contreras chalk is throwing me off a little bit. I like him, but I don't think I want to play him at that much ownership. So I was switching out some lineups when Cheese was talking about him being chalky. I think there's a lot of options where I don't have to play Contreras if he's going to be like the clear chalk.
Yeah. All right. Take me to second, Stevie.
Yeah, I mean, second's interesting. You have McLean in that Cincinnati game against the lefties, awesome against lefties. Brandon Lau, like I was mentioning, with the Tampa lefties against Lugo, is somebody that I like. I don't want to skip over Terang. I assume that he'll be back in the lineup. He got scratched yesterday for an illness. The guy that replaced him, Collins, left the game after getting hit. So I think there's a good chance that Terang plays and hits leadoff. He's really expensive, but Milwaukee's just the top stack against Burke. So I like that. Talked about the Mets, so I don't mind McNeil. Julian is like the chalk cheap hitter here. Him and Simeon are both really cheap options at second base. That's kind of it for me. I think second base is kind of straightforward today. I'm going to probably be way overweight on Julian, just hitting leadoff for a team that I really like in Minnesota.
Okay. Stevie, second.
I'm Dave, but it's fine.
But that's weird. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Stevie. Dave, your thoughts?
I would actually love to hear it again. Yeah, it's not like, I don't know. You have the money to play McLean and Terang. They're fine. Like Terang certainly in your Brewer stacks, I think is someone you want, assuming he's in there. Brandon Lau, I guess, is my favorite one-off. I'm also playing a bunch of Julian, me and everybody else, because he's cheap and leading off against a wildly hittable pitcher. That's really all I have to say. Second base.
Okay, let's go to third base. Cheese.
Hey.
Got it.
My favorite highest owned player batter on the whole slate by far is Jose Ramirez. It's a great matchup, and he's just way better than all the other third basemen. It's just like the gap between him and everybody else it's huge. And like we've mentioned, you really don't need salary, and there's good cheap plays everywhere else. So just play Ramirez. I like a little bit of Josh Young on the cheaper end. Everything else I think is in the stack. I don't even know why we would talk about it.
Okay. Stevie, should we talk about things or no?
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, we typically like to pay up a shortstop, and we have awesome shortstops today. De La Cruz on the slate, Witt's on the slate, Lindor's on the slate, but Jose Ramirez is just so much better than everybody else at third base today. He has 2 home run upside in this matchup against Wood Richardson. The weather looks like it's going to hold off at least for the first part of this game, and if we're in the 7th or 8th inning when the weather hits, we hope that our stacks are doing their thing before then. So Jose Ramirez, clearly, I like Josh Jung against Springs. Again, I like Texas. That's really it. Vientos in my Mets stack, I think, is fine. Hayes got 2 off the top of the bat singles against Matthew Boyd yesterday to tilt me, but it's Jose Ramirez at third base today.
Okay. Then you get to bring us to shortstop, where you already mentioned we like a lot.
Yeah, and just really quick, the Milwaukee lineup came out, and it's a pretty normal Milwaukee lineup outside of no Yelich. So no Yelich in the lineup, which definitely makes a difference for the Milwaukee stack. But you're getting Frelick hitting third, and Terang is in the lineup hitting leadoff. So I just wanted to quickly bring that up because I know a lot of people are waiting for the Milwaukee lineup. But yeah, shortstop. I mean, Lindor is my favorite shortstop when I can afford him. If not, it's just going down to like a Carlos Correa. If the weather holds off, Mason Wynn hitting second against Abbott, I think, is fine. But yeah, I mean, Lindor, and you can always play De La Cruz and Witt, especially with the ownership that we have them projected for today. Like, these guys are just capable of such big games that you have to have De La Cruz, Witt, and Lindor in your lineup every single day, or in your pool every single day, because they are so, I mean, their ceiling is just so massive.
Yeah. Cheese, I almost called you Stevie again. Jesus, sorry. I'm like tweeting. I'm looking at radar. I'm not locked in.
You keep looking at that radar. We got this.
We're fine, and it's not even lunchtime yet. You're doing fine. Yeah, I feel disappointed with how little Witt and De La Cruz I have, and even Lindor. Like, just because these guys are elite hitters and they're low owned. But again, kind of going back to what we said at third. At third base, it's just the one guy to spend up on. Everyone else is bad. At shortstop, the cheap stuff is actually pretty good. Like Mason Wynn looks really good. Correa looks really good. So you just don't have to play those guys. I rank them Lindor, De La Cruz, Witt, but you can mix and match those 3 any way you want. But yeah, essentially, I just didn't end up with a crazy ton of those spend ups because I like other spend ups better.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Perhaps you like them in the outfield. Cheese.
I do like some. So I'll mention, kind of related to outfield as well. On FanDuel, O'Neal Cruz is still playable at shortstop. And he is as likable as those other top guys. On DK, it changed a little bit with Yelich out. Churio's still a top of the board play. I think O'Neal Cruz is fine, even if you're playing some Colin Ray as the cheap pitcher. I like Wyatt Langford a lot, and I like Buxton a lot. Soto is spend up to be a little different. Like Soto always gets played a little bit, but he won't be chalky. Larnach is my favorite mid-tier play. I like Lewis Robert a good bit as well. Frelick. So was Bowers in the Milwaukee lineup then?
Yeah, both of them are.
Okay, so yeah, Frelick and Bowers both very playable there. If you need cheaper stuff on DK, mostly I don't mind Jordan Walker. John Kinsey Noel was in the lineup, and he's due some power. Jesse Winker is playable. There's really pretty good stuff at all price levels. So I do think you can kind of wait and do outfield last and see what you need salary-wise, because you can do any of those ranges.
Yeah. Stevie?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these guys. I will say, upside-wise, O'Neal Cruz is someone that I think has a lot of upside against Colin Ray, that he's not going to get any ownership today. So now that Yelich is out, I'm pivoting a little bit of Yelich to O'Neal Cruz, just because, I mean, they were very similar price-wise. We talked about the Milwaukee guys. Wyatt Langford, I think, is one of the top hitters on the slate today. He crushes left-handed pitching. Even last year, in a lot of like his injury dealing with year, he was great against lefties, and that really hasn't stopped. So just want to like hammer home Wyatt Langford one more time. Mid-tier wise, Larnach, like she said, I think is great. Winker in that Mets stack. And then like punt wise, yeah, Noel. Pilar is hitting leadoff for a Texas team against Springs, so I don't mind Pilar. You're just always worried about Pilar getting pinch hit for later in that game. So you're playing him knowing that there's some pinch hit risk there.
Okay. That's what we came out to do. And we want to give some home run calls as well. So I will let you both take a moment, think about who is hitting a bomb, as I, of course, pull up our reads, which should have had up earlier. But I'm looking at radar. I've got a lot going on. Let's see what we've got. I know what we've got. We got the best deal in the industry. MLB DFS annual option, 425 shillings. There we go. 425 shillings, but we've dropped the price of our Combo Pro to match the MLB annual package. So you get more stuff for the same price. And if you're doing it all the way through the season instead of month by month by month, you actually save 35% choosing the 6-month option instead of monthly. MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, and more. Got NFL right around the corner. Make sure you're doing that. Let's do some home run calls. Cheese, you can lead us off.
Do we have NFL right around the corner? It'll be here soon. It's sooner than it seems. I don't know. I feel like we're over.
Like it's the one sport that's just always there.
It's always there, isn't
it? It's just hovering. There's draft, and then there's training camp.
It is pretty weird when you think about, like, it seems like we just started baseball. It's already May. They'll probably have a game like the first week of August. All right, it's right around the corner.
It's right. It's right around.
But anyhow, I just didn't want to talk about home runs, so let's talk about what around the corner means.
That's fair.
All right, home runs. We'll go. I won't go any high end plays today, just to be different. So we'll go with Trevor Larnach, Kyle Manzardo, and then the random old man doesn't seem like he should hit a home run. Home run is Andrew Benintendi.
Very good. Stevie?
I also had Manzardo written down, so we'll double dip on him. Langford is one that I really like. Talked about that. And then the other one that I'm just gonna Jesse Winker, home run against Zach Gallen.
Okay. Very good. We got Stevie behind the scenes making a home run call. Producer Steve, that is. Soto is his home run call. I like it. A little Soto blast. Give me a hitter in Cleveland. Ramirez?
Yeah.
Right.
You are correct, sir.
He's going to hit a home run. There you go. It's good hitting weather there. Okay. Let's take some questions. I think we were a few moments until lock. If we've got some questions, we'll do it. If not, we'll bounce on out of here. Hey, and by the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't hit like, I saw we only have like 50 or 60 likes. I'm mildly offended by that. So please do hit the thumbs up for us. We would appreciate it. In the meantime, let's get some of these QQs. Robbie says, no, that's not a question. That's just a statement.
Speaking of, things being right around the corner, when you said we're almost at lock, we got 20 minutes. But that is right around the corner. So pop those questions in.
I don't think we're going to make it to lock. I'm going to be honest with you. But if you have questions, please do drop them in. Jerry says, Cheese, 3K FanDuel cash util. I mean, you got a lot. At 3K, you got a lot, Cheese. You got something.
Yeah. Boy, 3K. I mean, I would say Kyle Manzardo is the first one that comes to mind. He's right at 3K. So there you go. And then Larnach right below that. So one of those two. Or
Stevie
both.
nodded in agreement immediately. He was on board with that.
He's my utility on FanDuel.
There you go. That makes that easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's me. Breezy says, hey, Cheese, would you play St. Louis and mini games in cash?
Definitely Minnesota. I think he means that based on the weather, not the plays themselves.
Well, can we just say who the home team is so that I know?
Yeah. So I think that's a weather question.
Yeah. Would you play
In which
Cincinnati
case-
and Cleveland in cash?
Do you have anything new on either of those?
Not really.
Yeah. What I would say is I would not be changing my plans. Like I would still have Jose Ramirez in cash and at least one or two Twins bats.
Yeah.
And
I'm fine with
let
that.
it be what it is.
I'm fine with that. Let's see. Is a 5-man twin stack viable? Your weather update said storm towards the end of the game, but ideally you want a longer game. If you got a 5-man stack, yeah. I mean, it's viable, right? It's a good stack, right?
It's a very good stack, yeah. And they're so cheap that 7 innings does not kill that stack.
Yeah. Juice says, Stevie, first off, can't wait for football season. I feel that. Thoughts on Rangers and A's full game stack? Game stack it up, Stevie.
yeah, I mean, I like both those stacks. I think that Spring's definitely hittable. So, like the Texas righties, I don't even know if they have a lefty in the lineup today. So, like that. And then I like the Athletics upside on any given slate, but I will continue to say, like, Tyler Mahley's done a really good job this year of limiting barrels and limiting power. So I prefer the Texas side a little bit more than the Athletic side. But yeah, I mean, sure, why not? It's NASCAR season too. Like, what? We're not talking about football yet. It's NASCAR season.
That's true. We got time.
Yeah.
Let's see. K-Town's finest. Stevie, thoughts on single entry DK? Is it okay to play Skeens and Ray, REA, in the same lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be one of the lowest scoring games of this day slate. So I have no issues with playing both of them together. Colin Ray, he just throws a lot of strikes, gets a lot of ground balls, and doesn't typically get blown up. And then Skeens, we both agree that, like, just play his talent today. So I have a DraftKings team with both of them together. No issues with that.
Yeah. As far as pitchers go, I saw someone say, hey, is this game safe for pitching? I think you're probably fine in the Cleveland game pitching-wise. I'm more concerned about the Cincinnati game pitching-wise because that's the one where there's storms nearby. It doesn't look like they're late starting. Storms aren't quite there yet. It's not that I'm definitely expecting a delay, but I think that is the more likely game to see a pitcher-impacted delay, meaning an early delay. Let's see what else we got. Favorite spend down in your favorite spend down pitcher in a FanDuel GPP. Cheese, you kind of mentioned you don't feel you need to, but if you were to spend down, who would it be in a FanDuel GPP?
Kind of depends what spend down means. Like, yeah, I definitely don't like spend down at all. Like if Seth Lugo counts as spend down at 87, I guess it's him. If you need cheaper than that, I mean, like, it's so bad, honestly. Like, you could play Gallon or Springs and just hope that today's the day they come back to who they are because of those salaries. But And I mean, Colin Ray. Yeah, okay. I would play Colin Ray personally before Gallon or Springs, but I'm answering these all theoretically because I don't have any of those guys.
Yeah.
I guess then Colin Ray is my official answer to a question I would prefer not to answer.
Okay, nice. That is really well worded. Would you 5-man the Guardians? Andrew asks, and this may again be weather determined. But Cheese, would you 5-man stack Cleveland?
Definitely, yeah.
I would. I would. Steve says, since he's good to go, I'm calling it. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to late start, which is good for like, will the game play? Yeah. If they start the game, it's going to play. It's going to finish. It does increase the chance, of course, of an in-game delay because we're still kind of monitoring these storms. But I still don't know if they're just going to be really, really close or if they're just going to miss.
And they're nasty storms too, right? Like they're not.
They're legit.
Yeah.
Thunderstorms. Yeah, they're legit thunderstorms around. FanDuel single entry. Stevie, coming to you. Would you prefer a game stack of A's text? We don't like the word game stack. I let it slide once, but Cheese is not going to let it slide twice.
It's so misleading. Like, I just hate using it for so many. I don't need to go into it. We just need to come up with a different term for if you're playing two teams who are in the same game. Like, it's just not okay. Because it means something very real in other sports, and it does not mean that thing in baseball.
Right. In football, it's a shootout. Both teams are just airing it out. In basketball, they're two fast-paced teams. The game is related. You're basically saying, yes, the other team.
If one team plays faster, the other team gets more opportunities.
Yeah.
That doesn't – for baseball, for that to happen, it would be like saying for every 5 runs a team scores, the other team gets an extra inning. It doesn't happen. There's no such thing. It means a different thing. So we just need a different term for it. I don't care what the term is, but it can't be game stack.
I think that's the first time you've had that rant all year. And I goaded you into it too.
I mean, we got time, and it's people are still saying it after all these years. Like, why can't someone just come up with a new word for it? Like, it's not that hard. Yeah. I don't want to make up a word for it because I don't like it anyway. But like, just come up with a different term, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. He has an ice cream hangover from his birthday.
He's the sugar's crashing. We need to get some ice cream in him. Let's see, where are we at here? Oh, the question, to be clear, we'll get back to it.
Double dip, and we're done. Can we double dip?
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Would you prefer a double dip of this? And this has like an ice cream connotation as well.
Thank you.
From now on, game stack shall be called double dips. It is. This is official.
You can double dip the Rangers A's game for sure.
Okay, there you go. I love it. Is the Twins game safe for pitching? Where are the Twins?
Who's
the home? Cleveland.
Okay, I think so. Yes, thank you. Please,
don't play pitchers in that game. Why are you playing pitchers in that game?
Yeah, you don't need them anyway. Like,
I should note. Yeah, it's also the best hitting weather on the slate. Tampa, you could argue, but it's good hitting weather. Thoughts on Suarez, Stevie, for Arizona on a DraftKings GPP? Then I need to craft a tweet so y'all can talk amongst yourselves. Then I'll be back.
I don't have Suarez in my player pool today, personally. I mean, he's had a lot of power this year, so I mean, upside wise, I could definitely see it, but I mean, I just don't like the spot for him. Senga, where he's struggled against lefties, he's been really solid against righties. Ballpark's really pitcher friendly. So yeah, I don't have any interest in Suarez.
Stevie, can we give West Bank 2 batters who get 1.5 or more hits? So not 1.5 or more bases, doubling out. We need multiple hits. And my boy Quan is first. Is he playing? Is he playing?
Yeah, I was going to say Quan would have been my first choice in that. Him and Let's go Terang. He has a low strikeout rate too, and a good matchup.
Look at that. Geez, you didn't think I was coming with Quan, did you? You weren't ready for that baseball knowledge.
Fantastic. You are next level, man.
What's funny is like he was my answer before you even said anything. Like, yeah, I bet his bases this morning. Like, yeah.
Love that. You know, you talk baseball for 10 years, even if you don't like the sport, you start learning. It happens. Cheese, thoughts on Lugo versus Tampa Bay?
Yeah, so I like him better than Abbott and Senga and Chad Patrick in that price range. I don't love any of them though, but he's playable. I don't love it per se.
Yeah. Chris says, what's the wind looking like in Pittsburgh? In from right, around 10 miles per hour is the answer. Cheese, Mets or Cards in a stack, single entry?
Mets or Cards? Do Mets to be a little different with the same upside, even more upside, really, because they're a better team.
Yeah. I've been neglecting the Discord. That's on me. We're getting into the Discord right now. Apologies to all the real ones hanging out in the Discord. Stevie, DKGPP from Luke Cage. A's on the radar for a full stack?
I mean, I guess like they have a lot of power upside in the lineup. Like Tyler Mahle is just really good at like not getting barreled and limiting power. So yes and no.
Okay. All right. Sure.
I'm gonna say yes and no for every question from now on.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
that
no,
a
I
lot.
mean like
yes
I got you.
and no.
Like they have plenty of upside. Tyler Mahle, I hate stacking against that guy. I don't think he's given up a home run yet this year. And on a slate like today where you want to chase some home runs, like facing a guy that's going to limit home runs for 5 to 7 innings just doesn't sound fun, even for a offense that has a ton of upside. But they do have a ton of upside, so you can't like say no, don't stack them.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't like the Athletics as much. And like I think I would have liked them a little bit more if Langoliers would have been in the lineup.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your favorite FanDuel GPP pitcher? I would like to go first, and then you can poo-poo my thoughts.
Well, but let me say your answer is my answer.
Okay. It's Boz, and here's
too.
why.
Yeah.
Here's why. It's because Skeens and Boz are almost the same price, which means everybody's going to play Skeens. He's coming in at higher ownership. He's got almost as much upside, even though on average he won't score as many points. He's coming in at lower ownership. He's the better theoretical play. And you've got the money. You don't need to spend down and get a bunch of crap bats. Go home run hunting, play the lower owned pitcher, hope for 10 Ks, and win yourself a GPP.
Yeah, that's totally right. I knew you were going to say Boz, and you're correct. And even the reasoning is correct. You've been paying attention all these years.
I know. Yeah, people think that
He's been hanging out with us long enough.
I know. You guys are really rubbing off on me. Let's see. Yep, that's me. Says I am prioritizing Cheese, spending up on bats, but I can only play 2 of J-Ram, Langford, Churio. Which 2 would you play, Cheese? DK single entry. J-Ram, Langford, Churio.
Definitely J-Ram. And well, I would say I like Churio better. I think in a single entry, if you're not stacking Milwaukee, play Langford and be just a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay. Large field DK tournament. Stevie, what do the great minds think about Boz and Skeens with a slightly different Brewers full stack and a super sneaky 3-man stack? Is that different enough and good enough to win it all?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're on board. Stevie, back to you. DK Cash from Tom, still in the Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, hit us with the thumbs up. Langford and Correa or Churio and Win? I've already got 4 Minnesota players he'd like to add.
I prefer the first one.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, my guy Bean says Mahle or Lugo in a FanDuel GPP, or spend down for Ray and spend up on my bats. Kind of went over this.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, just go down to Ray and spend up on your bats, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. FanDuel Cash, Cheese, Terang and Luis Robert, but I think it's actually Robert.
It's Robert. It's so crazy, but please go Robert.
Yeah, it just should be Robert. His first name is Luis. It should be Robert, but apparently it's Robert. And so, anyways, Terang and Robert, or J-Ram and Frelick.
I like them both, but I would do J-Ram and Frelick.
Okay. Hopping back into the YouTube, seeing what we got here. I definitely skipped a few questions. What time is lock? 35 after Cheese?
Correct.
Okay. Well, then we're probably hanging out till lock. The Prince, Cheese, Buxton or Reynolds?
Buxton.
Jake says, Stevie, DK GPP, it's a 3v3. Boz, Frelick, Larnach, or Ray, Langford, Soto?
Oh, I think I prefer paying up for Boz, so I'll say that one, the first one. Okay. That one's close, though. I mean, the 2 bats that you get, I just like Frelick and Larnach a lot, and I think Baz or Boz outscores Ray by 8 to 15.
Okay. Mab says, hey, this is great. 20 years from now, while I'm playing DFS and saying double dip, I can say I started it. Cheese, was it you that started it, or did you read
Matt,
it?
I got it read. Mabs
Okay.
said it, and I read
Yeah.
it. So yeah, absolutely. That is all Mabs.
You deserve it, Mabs.
Changing the course of history right here today.
Will DFS in its current form still exist 20 years from now?
20, no. 10, I'm going to say probably.
Okay. Yeah. It's just the
But
sports betting
in your
is just
current form. Yeah. I mean, like I think we'll still be able to play fantasy. I just think that the format will change.
Yeah. All right. TJ says, hey, Stevie, I was wondering if you talked to Siege lately. Hope everything is doing well.
I actually talked to him a few weeks ago.
There you go. He's good people. What else do we have? Scrolling down a little bit. I bet I'm the only one in this chat who likes the White Sox from, you guessed it, Eric Johnson.
He's not the only one who likes the White Sox.
Oh.
They're super cheap. You're not all alone on White Sox.
Great. Okay. Let's see, Stevie, coming back to you from my guy Black. He says, how about a back-end Met stack in a FanDuel GPP?
I'm assuming McNeil, Nimmo, Vientos, Winker, like just kind of avoiding Lindor, Soto, Alonso. I like the Mets. Like I said, they're my sneaky stack, but if I'm stacking Mets, I'm getting Alonso, Soto, and Lindor in there. We have plenty of cheap bats, and it's really easy to do that.
Yeah. Let's see. Weather update in Cleveland. I got nothing to say. It's dry to start, and you got a chance for storms later. And that's that.
Did I freeze or is Kevin frozen?
I think it's Roth.
Okay. Well, we're still moving. Well, we'll chat. We do have Discord question. I get to ask you a Discord question, Steve.
Oh, all right. Then I'll ask you a YouTube question right after.
Boz, Winker, Baez. That's got to be Boz though. Boz, Winker, Frelick, or I don't know what that question means. I don't know what a Baez and an Eli are supposed to mean. We're going to need you to rephrase that question, Beaner.
Oh, Roth is back. I still want to ask a question. Like, am I silly for liking Burke a lot today? Yes. Right?
Yes. Yes. Good question. The answer is yes.
Wait, I froze? I thought it was you, idiot.
No, that was you.
No, it was you. You were talking
You
like a
thought
robot.
me and Stevie both froze at the same time?
To be fair, I thought it was producer
Simultaneous.
Steve. I thought it was producer Steve who froze, and it like put us all on lock. But no, it was me. All right. We're less than 2 minutes until lock. Here we go. Eric says, Cheese, Terang, Barnhart, or Simeon Contreras, DK Smallfield.
Simeon Contreras.
Cheese, your absolute favorite FanDuel four-man team. Your absolute favorite FanDuel stack.
That's so hard to answer. Because really the answer is Milwaukee. We'll just go with that. They're not chalky enough, and you can build them different ways. So it's Milwaukee. But do make sure you use 2 first basemen in that one. Just you're a little different. Maybe use all 3: Contreras, Bowers, Hoskins.
Ooh, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Did we get DK Cash, Jordan Walker, or Pilar, Stevie?
The second one. I don't play cash, but if I was playing cash, I wouldn't be like overweight on that St. Louis Cincinnati game.
Yeah, that's fair. Am I crazy for wanting to play Pilar leading off in Texas? I've got 3K left over in the outfield. Stevie?
I don't think he's crazy. I think that if you have 3K left over, I would upgrade. That seems why. Yeah. I mean, you could play anybody, really.
Yeah.
I want to answer Beaner's question. He's retyped this. I hope you're voice texting today, Beaner. We love you. I know what he means now, though. He means Boz, Winker, Frelick, or Ellie De La Cruz, Lugo, and Larnach. Let me rephrase it again. Boz, Winker, Frelick, or Lugo, Ellie, and Larnach.
Okay. Are you gonna?
The
I'm
first
asking
one.
Stevie. So
Okay.
Yeah, I
how
lean
to
the
decode.
I go the first one.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I saw it at
Boz
first.
Winker Freelick.
It had bad. It auto corrected Boz to bad. And I was like, what the hell is bad?
the Eli De La Cruz. We're getting
Yeah,
there.
it was
One
rough.
more time, and it's gonna fly in.
We
But
made
it
it. We did
strikes me as he's voice texting these.
Yeah.
I love the voice text, and it's close.
Yeah. Let's see. We've hit the lock. Let's close it out on this. Is Brooks Lee related to Bruce Lee? That is maybe the most important question. Is Brooks Lee related to Bruce
More
Lee?
than related, they are the same person.
What? Oh my God.
Yes.
This is incredible. Lock that guy in. Lock him in.
Well, now that we're like past lock, like Steve, like we got the best like content ever yesterday, and why haven't we shared it with the people? Like the best content ever happened in the RotoGrinders Slack yesterday. I don't know if Cheese knows about this or not, but
I don't.
No,
my wife absolutely loved it, and it was just so good.
Steve, are we saving that for the late show?
Go take a look.
I might save it for a Friday special. I'll tease the RotoGrinder chat though. I have it ready to go after this show.
Okay. So it's ready. They're just waiting. He's just waiting to drop the bomb on us.
Cheese.
Where did this happen? What channel?
It was in the testimonials.
Testimonials. Yeah.
Okay, I will check that out.
Yeah, it was fully absurd.
You will gladly enjoy it with your music background. I'll say that.
Awesome. I'm going there.
All right, we're gonna bounce on out of here. We took you all the way up to lock and through lock. That's good stuff. Make sure you hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. We are going to clear on out. I'm going to radar watch these couple of games, and we're going to be back later on today. So for Stevie, for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you later on today. You have been